Will Smith didn't just fall off. He got evicted from relevance with a restraining order. We're talking about a guy who went from saving the world in Independence Day to using AI crowds because real humans won't show up to his concerts anymore. That's not a career pivot, that's a public execution in slow motion. And honestly, at this point, watching Will Smith try salvage his reputation is like watching someone perform CPR on a goldfish. Technically impressive, but we all know how this ends. Remember when Will Smith was actually cool? Back when he could drop "Welcome to Earth" and punch aliens without anyone questioning his life choices.
Welcome to Earth.
Those days are deader than his marriage, and that's saying something because what we're witnessing isn't just a celebrity meltdown, it's a masterclass in how to systematically destroy everything that made you famous in the first place. From the Oscar slap heard around the world to fake crying over moldy cheese drama, Will has managed to turn his legacy into a cautionary tale that even his own AI fans are probably embarrassed about. The whole disaster started brewing long before that infamous night at the Oscars. While everyone was focused on Will's perfect family image, Jada was busy rewriting the definition of entanglement and making Will look like he needed a GPS to find his own dignity. The Red Table Talk episode, where she casually mentioned her affair with August Alsina, wasn't just awkward. It was like watching someone get emotionally waterboarded on live television. Will sat there looking like he'd rather be anywhere else, including a Black Widow's web, while Jada explained how she got into an entanglement like she was describing a yoga pose gone wrong.
Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August, that's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes.
But here's where it gets really pathetic. Instead of handling this privately like a normal human being, Will decided the best response was to become the internet's favorite punching bag. The memes wrote themselves. Fresh Prince of Despair, The Pursuit of Sadness, even 50 Cent was sliding into his DMs asking if he was okay, which is basically the celebrity equivalent of a wellness check. When 50 Cent is worried about your mental health, you know the poor guy's down bad. Then came March 27th, 2022, the night Will Smith decided to speedrun his career destruction. Chris Rock made a joke about Jada's bald head, and Will responded like he was auditioning for a WWE match nobody asked for. The slap itself wasn't bad enough, but what happened next was pure cringe poetry. Will sat back down and screamed,
"Keep my wife's name out your mouth!"
like he was protecting someone who had already dragged his name through more mud than a monster truck rally. The man defended the honor of someone who'd been publicly embarrassing him for years. So that's not loyalty, that's an entanglement with VIP seating. And the aftermath was swift and brutal. The Academy banned him for 10 years, which is basically Hollywood's way of saying we'll see you never. Projects got shelved faster than expired milk, and suddenly the guy who used to guarantee box office gold couldn't get a meeting at Wendy's drive-thru. But did Will take this as a sign to maybe step back and reassess? Of course not. Instead, he decided to launch the most desperate comeback tour in entertainment history. First came the music. The music. After 20 years away from rap, Will returned with Pretty Girls, a song so aggressively mediocre it made his old track sound like Kendrick Lamar. The lyrics were basically, "I like pretty girls," repeated until your brain cells filed for unemployment. Fans weren't just disappointed, they were personally offended. Comments ranged from "this sounds like a midlife crisis set to auto-tune" to "even my Spotify is embarrassed." And the like to dislike ratio looked like Logan Paul's crypto portfolio, and that's not the kind of viral anyone wants to be. But Will wasn't done torturing us. He started popping up everywhere like a desperate ex who won't take the hint. Collaborations with KSI and XQC that felt more like hostage situations than creative partnerships. The man who once had chemistry with aliens couldn't connect with a YouTube streamer.
We have to give, or you have to give?
Well,
Because that'll be...
okay, it's me. Yeah.
It's, yeah. So if I laugh, you have to pay.
I still pay. Yes.
Okay.
Watching him try relate to Gen Z was like watching your dad attempt TikTok dances. Technically happening, but nobody wants to witness it. The interviews became a whole other level of secondhand embarrassment. Will would sit there talking about calling Jay-Z and Kendrick Lamar for advice, name dropping like he was still relevant. Meanwhile, his streaming numbers were lower than a limbo bar at a dwarf convention. He claimed Kendrick told him,
"Just say that shit you always been scared to say."
But apparently what Will was scared to say was just more generic pop music that sounded like it was written by a committee of divorced dads. Because then came the ultimate desperate move, the AI crowd controversy. Will posted concert footage that was so obviously fake, it made deepfake technology look embarrassed. Fans with multiple arms, signs that said generic things like "I love you, Will," and crowds that moved like they were controlled by a broken PlayStation controller.
Hey, what the fuck? Stick drift!
The man who once fought robots was now using artificial intelligence to pretend people still cared about him. The irony was so thick you could cut it with a lightsaber, and social media absolutely destroyed him for this, saying things like even AI fans wouldn't show up to see him, and that he's so desperate he's manufacturing his own audience. The memes were ruthless and honestly maybe deserved. When you're using technology to fake human connection, you've officially entered the please seek professional help territory of celebrity breakdown. But what makes this whole situation even more tragic is how unnecessary it all was. Will Smith was beloved. He had the perfect career, the perfect image, the perfect everything. But instead of protecting what he built, he let his personal drama become public entertainment and his professional choices become public embarrassment. He went from being someone everyone wanted to work with to someone everyone wanted to avoid like a crypto scam. But the saddest part is that other celebrities have come back from worse. Robert Downey Jr. was literally in prison and still managed to become Iron Man. Britney Spears had a public breakdown and still got her flowers. But Will's comeback attempt feels so forced, so calculated, so desperately thirsty for relevance that they're actually making his situation even worse. Every interview, every song, every fake crowd video just reminds people why they stopped caring in the first place. And therefore his recent projects have been flops wrapped in disappointment and served with the side of cringe. The Bad Boy sequel did okay, but that was more nostalgia than genuine excitement. Everything else has been met with the kind of silence usually reserved for awkward family dinners. Even his own fans are starting to sound like they're at a funeral talking about the old Will, like he died in that Oscar slap. The truth is, Will Smith's career isn't just over, it's become a cautionary tale about what happens when you prioritize image over authenticity. He spent so long being the perfect Hollywood husband, the perfect family man, the perfect movie star, that when reality hit, he had no idea how to handle it. Instead of being real about his struggles, he doubled down on the fake perfection, and now nobody believes anything he does. At this point, Will Smith isn't trying to make a comeback, he's trying to convince himself he never left. But the audience has moved on, the industry has moved on, and frankly, maybe it's time for Will to move on too. Because watching someone this talented destroy their own legacy isn't entertainment anymore, it's just sad. But let me know in the comments if you think Will can make a comeback, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.